Eugene, he didn't want to be in any benefit. He's retired, he gets his civil service pension, he's never been on benefits in his life. But when his wife became unemployed in March this year and went to sign on, they were told they'd both have to claim universal credit as the household income had to be taken into account. And Eugene says they told the benefits office absolutely everything.
And everything was going fine. They were paying £600-700 a month to her, and we were getting on. We were answering everything that they wanted. We were giving them everything that they wanted, and then we got a bombshell on the 10th of October this year.
Well, I've actually got a copy of that letter in my hand, and you called a bombshell, and I completely agree. It's addressed to you and your wife, and it says, because of this, you have been overpaid £11,922.26 and now need to pay this money back.
Yes.
If you already owe money to us, this overpayment will be added to it. We'll contact you if we need to review how much you're currently paying back. And then it just says how to pay by phone, a lump sum, or this, that and the other. I mean, your heart must have sank when you got that.
We were, I'll be honest with you, we were suicidal. That's how seriously this impacted on us.
£11,922.
Us thinking we were doing everything right. And when we contacted Universal Credit, the staff couldn't have been nicer. They were saying, you have done everything right. You've told us every penny that you've earned. Every penny that has come into your household. This has been our mistake. But this is the big but. You have no right of appeal.
No, none.
None.
No. I mean, it says in this letter, if you'd like more information about how this overpayment was worked out, please contact us using your journal or phone us. But it was just a fait accompli. You owed it and...
End off. And you have 12 months to repay it.
And they're talking here about spreading it over monthly payments, but as you say, you gave all the information. Have they any explanation as to what happened?
Well, what they have said is it was a computer glitch between the Inland Revenue and themselves. Now, from my understanding, that's Capita, two computer systems that are in both branches, and one didn't talk to the other. But
that's not your fault.
No. I pressed them on this, and I've said, what training were you people given? And I actually did it under a Freedom of Information request, and I was told they were given 21 days training before they started to operate Universal Credit. I asked what supervisory checks were done and was told a fraction of claims are checked by an authorising officer. Only a small percentage was the words. So even someone that has 21 days knowledge of a completely new system had our lives in their hands. Now, we complained, and no later than this morning, I had a phone call from, I'll not name the person, but they're the complaints manager in debt recovery in Castle Court, and they have said to me, we have had contact from Universal Credit. If I can provide them medical evidence to show that this has had a detrimental impact on our health, that they will write off the £12,000. But 2 months of sheer hell we have been through.
Worry, I'm sure you thought of little else.
Oh, I mean, honestly, destroyed us. The only thing was, I don't know whether your office has contacted them, or I know I contacted my local MLA and he had written to them. Like, in addition to this, we had become used to that level of income coming into our house and had taken on, I'd say, about £20,000 worth of financial commitments. Buying a new car and one thing and another.
Because you thought it was right? Because
we were presumed it was right. We were told it was right all along.
What was the error? What bit didn't get taken into account? Have you been able...
My pension. Not one penny of my pension was taken into account.
That's a big mistake.
How am I supposed to know the ins and outs of what they're doing? And they've accepted that I couldn't have known that they were wrong. So I've written off and I've put in a complaint against them for maladministration, because that's what this is. This isn't just writing off that £12,000 isn't good enough in my book. This is a benefit that has been brought in in a haphazard, ham-fisted way. And if I've had this, there's a lot of other people will have had something similar. And it's just not good enough that they can get away, months later, to consider writing off my debt that they say I owe them isn't good enough.
What has it been like the last 2 months for you and your wife?
Hell on earth. That's hell on earth.
And you've been made to feel, of course, that you've done something wrong.
Oh, of course. My wife hasn't come out the house. My wife has not come out of the house in 2 months.
She's feeling ashamed because she feels
She feels that the world will know that we're going to be bankrupt. Because that's what we're going to be.
I love the line here. You can pay by telephone lump sum. You can pay the amount you owe us in full by debit card. £11,922.26.
Yeah.
It's been a really hard couple of months for you. You're going to take the next step now and go and get some medical evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're going to go a step further as well.
Yeah.
Have you considered the Public Service Ombudsman?
I honestly don't know where I'm at. Honestly don't know. I have put on this maladministration claim and we'll see what they say. Honestly don't know where I'm at with them.
You probably regret ever getting involved in the whole system.
Oh, gee. You work in the civil service for your entire life.
And you know how to be very nitpicky and careful with all the information.
I give them every nut and bolt, everything. And they did this on me. I am in pieces.
And he really is. When we talked to the Department of Communities on Eugene's behalf, and of course they quite rightly say they can't discuss the specific details of any particular case, but the department does say they're aware of the circumstances, can confirm they've written to and contacted Eugene by phone to explain the options available. I should say that's not his real name, by the way. We're not using that. The department says we'd encourage anyone with a social security debt who's experiencing financial hardship to contact our debt management team. The number is 0800 587 1322 to discuss their personal circumstances, and the department says the debt management team are aware of Eugene's case and will be in contact with him. And by the way, I mentioned to Eugene about the Public Service Ombudsman. I rang them as well, and they say we can look at what can be done when someone, after exhausting the internal complaints process of a public body, still thinks they've been unfairly. And the PSO tells me that they would be very happy to speak to any member of the public, and indeed to Eugene, to explain how we might be able to help them. Their number, the phone-in operators have all these numbers, by the way, but the phone number for the Ombudsman, Public Service Ombudsman, is 0800 343424. Well, Rachel Jeffers of the Belfast Law Centre, you told us something that we didn't know, that Eugene didn't know, and not a lot of people seem to know. In fact, hardly anybody. It's something called a discretionary waiver. Now, what is it and why do not people know about it, and why aren't they told about it?
Okay, we're not too sure why people aren't told about the discretionary waiver. Presumably it's because it is a way of essentially writing off any debt that's owed to the Department for Communities. I just want to pick up on a point that Eugene said about, he mentioned that there's bound to be other people in a similar circumstance to himself. We have some statistics that since the introduction of universal credit up until June 2019, there were 3,546 overpayments of universal credit, and presumably that number has gone up since June 2019. So there's a lot,
and that's worth £1.7 million.
Yes.
And and yet we asked the question: how many of those cases of the 3,546 cases of overpayment? How many waivers were actually discretionarily waived, if that's a proper word? And the answer was
Three.
3 out of 3,546. So it is quite a well-kept secret. I mean, it wasn't in that letter that Eugene got saying, by the way, this is an option, and it's not on the NI Direct website. It's not told to people.
It's not told to people, though I should point out that there is guidance on the Law Centre website about a discretionary waiver, what it is, how you can apply for it, and even an example letter. So that support is there.
And it's very clearly written. I've read that, and we'll put the links up direct. But you have to know to go to look. If you don't know, you won't ask.
That's it, and nobody really does know, and we would suggest that Universal Credit, if anybody were to contact Universal Credit with a debt, they should be told, they should be advised that there is another option here for you.
And how does it work? What would it do if you did this?
Well, the criteria is quite tight, so you do need to show that you have financial issues, so you're not able to pay back the overpayment, or that the continued recovery of the overpayment is going to have a detrimental impact on your health. So you do need to gather up some medical evidence from your GP or any consultant that you're seeing, which does state, you know, maybe in Eugene's case, that the continued recovery of this is going to have an impact on his health. Certainly, it's having an impact on his wife's health. So the impact on family members can also come in under the discretionary waiver. Then aside from that, it is just a letter to the department stating this is what's happened. You've admitted that it was your fault and we shouldn't have to pay it back. Now, this is a very specific universal credit welfare reform benefit issue. All the other legacy benefits, if it's a case of official error where the department are the ones that have made the mistake, normally there is no recovery action pursued at all. This was very much brought in.
The law was changed.
With the introduction of universal credit, the law was changed to say that even in cases of official error, recovery would be pursued.
So it used to be that if it was their mistake, you didn't have to pay, and now with the change of the law of universal credit, even if it's their mistake, you do have to pay.
That's it, exactly.
Unless this discretional waiver is brought into play that no one knows about. Well, only 3 people seem to know. You've asked questions, haven't you, of the department? The Law Centre has been asking for more information on this.
Yeah, we've asked for more detailed guidance in terms of the discretionary waiver. We've asked for a code of practice, and that very much comes from an assurance given during one of the debates of the original welfare reform bill, which does seem quite some time ago now, where it was confirmed that the government did not intend in many cases to recover money where official error has been made. So it never really did seem to be the intention that where there was official error that recovery would be pursued. There was assurances that there would be an absolutely clear code of practice that would govern the circumstances, but we have yet to see this code of practice. We've yet to see any guidance or policies or procedures in place. The best that I've been able to find is 2 pages of a 100-page document about recovery of overpayments.
And what we also don't know is of these figures that you do have about the introduction of how many times have been overpayments. We don't know whose fault it was in each case.
That's it. There's been no confirmation about how many mistakes are actually made by the department and how many mistakes are made by clients. And it'd be interesting to see the breakdown of that. We would suggest that there is no accountability there if we're not able to say, look, the vast majority of overpayments have been caused by an issue with the computer system or a specific issue with reporting. We don't have that sense just yet.
So Eugene didn't know until comparatively recently. He's had months of distress because that letter, well, I suppose it's a standard letter, just fill in the amount, but £11,266.26 when you get that through the letterbox.
It's a terrifying number to receive.
And particularly when you felt you told them everything.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is the worst part, when you have fully played your part and you have fully given all the information. Similar to what Karen had said, she had given them everything that she needed. She'd fulfilled her side of the claimant commitment of the contract with Universal Credit. There would be an expectation then that the Department for Communities would be able to correctly process that claim. But it's very difficult with the digitalisation of the benefit, with everything on a computer. There's no face-to-face contact. It can get very difficult and problematic. But certainly, I would encourage Eugene to contact me at the Law Centre. I'd be more than happy to discuss with him.
And we have that number for the Northern Universal Credit Helpline. That is 0800 012 1331, 0800 012 1331. And I know you don't have time to write down those numbers. I really understand that. So don't worry, just ring into our phone-in operators, 30 30 80 55 55. That's the same number everybody gives out on Radio Ulster and Radio Foyle. And they will have those numbers for you because there's far too many numbers to remember. I know that too. And they'll also get you maybe in contact with this programme if we can help you too. Thank you for that. And we'll keep a watchful eye on Eugene and see how that pans out. And the Law Centre has some great information on the website that will help you if you go there too.